Astrology is a form of divination that involves the foretelling of earthly and human events through the observation of the fixed stars, the sun, the moon, and the planets and their subsequent interpretation. Today's video is about astrology, history, symbols, signs, and facts. The fundamentals and the importance. Astrology is a method for predicting mundane events that are based on the assumption that the celestial bodies, particularly the planets and the stars considered in their arbitrary combinations or configurations, in some way either determine or indicate changes in the sublunar world. This assumption underpins astrology as a method of prediction. This notion has its historical roots in Hellenistic philosophy, and it significantly differentiates astrology from the heavenly omena that were initially categorized and catalogued in ancient Mesopotamia. The celestial omena were thought to have a bearing on human destiny. Astrologers at one time assumed a geocentric world, in which the planets revolved in orbits whose centers were either at or near the center of the Earth, and in which the stars were fixed upon a sphere with a finite radius whose center was similarly at the center of the Earth. Later on, the principles of Aristotelian physics were put into practice. These principles state that there is an absolute division between the limitless, circular motions of the heavenly element and the limited, linear motions of the four sublunar elements, which are fire, air, water, and earth. The heavenly element is said to move in an eternal, circular motion. It was believed that distinct heavenly bodies, together with their varying motions and configurations with one another, as well as the processes of generation and decay that were visible in the realm of fire, air, water, and earth, all had special ties with one another. It was frequently believed that these relationships were so complicated that no human intellect could properly comprehend them. As a result, the astrologer could be simply pardoned for any errors that they made. Others, whose conception of physics was more analogous to that of the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, likewise assumed the existence of a similar set of special relations. They were more likely than the Aristotelians to believe in the possibility of divine intervention in the natural processes through celestial influences upon earth, since they believed in the deity's creation of the celestial bodies themselves. The Platonic astrologers believed that the element of fire was believed to extend throughout the celestial spheres. There is a wide range of interpretations regarding the function of the divine in astrological theory. Astrology, in its purest form, postulates a totally mechanistic universe, thereby denying the possibility of intervention by a deity and the possibility of free will for humans. For this reason, orthodox forms of Christianity and Islam have vigorously opposed astrology and consider it to be heretical. However, there are many who believe that astrology is not an exact science like astronomy, but rather that it just reveals trends and tendencies that can be changed either by the will of God or by the will of humans. According to the understanding of Bardesanes, a Syrian Christian philosopher who has frequently been labeled as a Gnostic, the motions of the stars rule only the elemental universe, which leaves the soul free to choose between the good and the evil. Bardesanes was a Gnostic. Emancipation from a material universe ruled by astrology should be man's last objective in this astrologically influenced existence. Some astrologers, such as the Iranians and the Hindus, believe that the planets themselves are potent deities whose decrees can be changed through supplication and liturgy or through theurgy, which is the science of persuading the gods or other supernatural powers. Other astrologers, on the other hand, believe that the planets' positions in the sky are predetermined and cannot be altered. The purpose of astrology. On the other hand, the primary goal of astrology when it was first developed was to provide an individual with information regarding the path that his life will take based on the placements of the planets and the zodiac signs at the time of his birth or conception. The core practices of astrology can be traced back to this field of study, which is also known as genealogy. General, catarchic, and interrogatory astrology are the primary subfields that emerged in the discipline following the development of genealogical astrology. Sign. Western astrology divides the 360-degree orbit of Earth around the Sun into 12 equal segments of 30 degrees each. These segments are referred to as astrological signs. The first day of spring, also known as the first point of Aries, which is the vernal equinox, is considered to be the starting point for the zodiac signs. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces are the astrological signs. Pisces is the last sign. Babylonian astrology served as the basis for the Western zodiac, which was later modified under the influence of Hellenistic culture. Each sign was given its name after the constellation that the sun will pass through during its annual journey across the sky. This fact is emphasized in the more digestible and often practiced kind of astrology known as sun sign astrology. The axial precession of the Earth has caused the zodiacal divisions used in Western astrology to drift out of line with the constellations that were named after them over the course of the ages. On the other hand, the measurements used in Hindu astrology account for this drifting. Astrology was also created in Chinese and Tibetan cultures. However, unlike Western astrology, Chinese and Tibetan astrology do not focus on the signs of the zodiac but rather on the entirety of the sky. Symbols. Capricorn. It is stated that the sign for Capricorn represents a sea-goat, which is a mythical creature that is said to be half goat and half fish. Water is thought to be represented by the wavy lines in the emblem for the Aquarius sign, which is a fish. Pisces. Some people believe that the emblem for Pisces depicts two fish that are swimming in opposite directions while being bound together by a rope. There is a common belief that the sign of Aries is represented by the head of a ram. The constellation Taurus is represented by a circle with horns, which is thought to depict the head of a bull. The Gemini twins are represented by the Roman numeral for the number 2, which is the symbol for the astrological sign Gemini. Crab claws are said to be represented by the 6s and or 9s turned on their sides in the symbol for the Cancer sign. The sign of Leo is represented by a symbol that is supposed to be a stylized drawing of a lion. There are a lot of different interpretations of the curly M that represents Virgo. People frequently speculate that the symbol is an M, which would stand for maiden, that it symbolizes a virgin with her legs crossed, or that it shows human intestines. It has been suggested that the sign of Libra is represented by either a sun that is set or a pair of scales. There is a common belief that a scorpion is represented by the sign of a Scorpio. The sign of Sagittarius is represented by an arrow that has a line drawn through it to indicate that it is part of a bow and arrow. Facts. You have more than one sign. Did you know that in addition to your sun sign, you also have a moon sign and a rising sign? The sun sign is the one that you have probably spent the most time thinking about. You will need to know the time and location of your birth in order to determine your rising sign and moon sign here. Born in between signs? You might be on a cusp. There are many different ways that cusps might be interpreted by astrologers. However, many experts are of the opinion that a planet is either on one side of the cusp or the other. To put it another way, just because you are born on a cusp doesn't necessarily mean that you are a mix of the signs. Rather, it indicates that you probably tend to identify with one planet more than the other. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.